So tonight I have pulled for the first deck the Queen of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands, and the Page of Pentacles. Of course, if this reading resonates, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. If you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website and to my Fiverr account. I'm finding that people really like the PayPal service. I'm sure that's because that's what they're used to on YouTube. Feel free to use either service if you would like an answer to a couple of questions, or if you would like a more in-depth reading about your personal circumstances, which is a little bit different to a general reading because, of course, a personal reading gives you perspective on your particular situation. The way that I go about my services is that I have a PayPal account. Usually people just send me the funds with a message asking me for a personal reading. I get back to them by email. They leave me their email address. I send back an email confirming the personal reading. Then you get that within 24 to 48 hours. And my Fiverr account is very easy to log in. It's just a Google account basically that you require if you would like a few more options for payment. If you would like to donate, my PayPal details are also on my website. Okay, so those are my announcements, and I'll get back to it. So it's the Queen of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands, and the Page of Pentacles. So I can see this man would like a new relationship with you, but he's not full of shit about this relationship, excuse my language, but that's what comes to mind. He's not full of shit. He wants to start again with you, very much so, and I feel like he wants to send you a message with the Page of Pentacles here. It's a message, it's a delayed message, but he's grown in substance and he's grown in energy about where he wants to take this relationship. With the Page of Pentacles here, it shows me that he's grown firmer in his stance about you both, and he wants to hand you a new life, a new love, a new heaven on earth. That's the impression I get, because I feel like in the past his head has been up in the clouds, and you know this. He's a bit airy-fairy sometimes, you know, he goes off with the fairies and he has a good dance and then he returns and, you know, he's like, gets carried away basically. And I feel like you're such an independent and grounded individual that you just turned your back to him in the past. I feel you have done this because you are an experienced lady in life. Now, you don't particularly have to be an older lady to be an experienced lady or a mature lady. And what this says to me is that you're both. So you're a very mature lady in your heart and in your mind. And you've chosen to turn away from him at that point in the past because there was a little bit of predictability to his airy-fairy nature. I feel that you're a very passionate person though, and that's why you are interested in knowing about what's happening in your love affair. And I can see in this depiction that you hold your affairs of the heart on your lap and you are always considering them. So I think that's a reflective of your passion, And that's why you take a strong interest in tarot, because it's like, you know in yourself that you don't have to be with this man. He can go off and do what he needs to do. But you would like the answer to your prayers in some respect. You would like to know that he felt the same way about you. You would like to know that he did want to instigate a new relationship with you. You did want to know if your feelings were grounded and sensible and mature. And you still want to satisfy that passionate side of yourself. This is what these cards are telling me. You really would like to satisfy that side of yourself. And I feel like it's a very strong side to you. I feel like you follow your passions. But I feel that your happiness is your hearth and your home. I don't get the impression that you flitter here, there, and everywhere. I think you appreciate travel, but you don't have to go. Now, this is a man that travels quite extensively because he's always got his head in the clouds, and we know that because we've seen him in the readings many, many times. So the energy of all of my channel viewers and subscribers is quite strong in that respect. There's a similarity between in the energies that you attract to you. And that makes perfect sense because you were guided to my channel. And of course, the energies are interconnected, so they've picked up. Everybody's got similar men. Of course, they're different in some ways, but they're similar. So he really wants to start a new relationship with you, and I think he's firm about that, quite firm, because he's gone through something. He's gone through the hurricane or the tornado. Feels like a tornado to me, and he just couldn't cling to anything. But he could cling to the hope he has in starting a fresh relationship with you, in starting afresh with you. That's what it says. That's probably the only thing he could cling to during the tornado that he was in. Now the skies are just clearing. That's what it shows. And he's only just been able to clear that debris. So that is why in the present he now wants to return to you and hand you that new relationship. The reason that this decision of his isn't full of shit is because you've got the Page of Pentacles in this deck. And it's saying to me, he is feeling grounded within himself. He's gone through all of the rubbish, all of the debris. He's been thrown about in the tornado. Possibly anything could have happened to him. He's been scratched. He's been thrown about. And that's why he has a new appreciation now for settling. And I get the impression that even though he's still very intelligent, very energetic, he has all those elements in his character, he's also very grounded. He's also now very grounded, very stable. He's growing in stability. And I feel like he's the type of guy that never had that because he's always been super duper high achieving. He's a high achiever. That's the impression I get from these cards. He's a supremely high achiever. And I feel like he was a victim of that achievement. You know, it's like the hot balloon can only rise so far before it deflates. And that's what's happened to your guy. He's a hot air balloon, and he went as far up into the atmosphere as he possibly could. But he hit the point where he couldn't go into space because he didn't have a rocket, he had a hot air balloon. So he went far in life. But he's since deflated. His head's deflated. Everything has deflated, particularly his head. So he had a really big head, huge head. If you can imagine what a hot air balloon looks like, that's how big his head was. I feel he's always had that grounded attitude with the basket underneath him. He's always been steadfast. It's just that his head grew too darn big. And he's still in the clouds trying to hand you this darn relationship. Still in the clouds, still there. Because wherever he was, I don't know what the first layer of the ozone is, but he was there. What the first layer of the atmosphere is, or the second, or whatever. He was there in the stratosphere. He was in the stratosphere. And he's only now deflated down to the clouds. So he's managed to be at, I don't know, a jumbo jets level in the atmosphere. So you get the impression anyway. My analogies tend to be strange, but everybody gets them. So I'll just continue on with that thread. So I get the impression here that he's in a better space. He's still a cockhead. He's still cocky. But I guess you have to realize that he's a person that can shoot for the stars. And he went as far as he could. But that star, I feel that star exploded. He couldn't get as far as he wanted to go because there are barriers, you know. There's a balance in life that you have to uphold, and what it's saying to me is that he didn't maintain that balance even though he was a high achiever, and so he's been brought back down to earth. He is very happy about you both, extremely happy. I feel like you're very contemplative at the moment about this relationship. Feels like you're happy just sitting in the garden, sitting in the sunshine, feeling the warmth, if you're in a warm area. Thinking over your love affairs, thinking over that pentacle you have in your lap. You could possibly have a baby, that's quite possible. But it's really showing me maybe two possible scenarios. If you're not in a relationship, this man is getting ready to push this association forward with you. If you are in the throes of a relationship on a physical plane, it says that this man wants to suggest marriage to you. And the reason he wants to suggest that, it says in the cards that it's because there's a child involved. He feels you have a beautiful relationship. He feels you're the woman of his dreams, and he wants to take next steps. If this is just a soul relationship, it means that you're becoming more steady in your feelings towards this man and you're not giving up on him. If you turn that around, he's not giving up on you. So you're going to continue on, you're both going to continue on in this soul connection just to see where it leads you. Now, it could lead anywhere. It could lead to you reuniting. It could lead to you becoming stronger people within yourselves from just knowing that one another is out there. But what it's saying to me is that this is a mutual exchange of emotions, whether it's on a physical plane, emotional plane, a soul plane, whatever. It's mutual. The challenge again is this situation that you're both in respect of your projects, your individual projects. Now, when I say projects, I mean it could be a general project, general home project, it could be a business project, it could be a career or job project. Because I feel like the commonality between you is that you are both starting out with your projects in whatever endeavor that may be. And that's a real focus of you both. A real focus, like an insane focus. Because it shows the success in your individual endeavors and the energy that you have to expend to progress your endeavor. So that's going to be the challenge. But basically, his love for you is strong. You're the queen in his life. You're the person that makes him happy, extremely happy. And I feel like he's coming from a very pure place. When he feels like he wants to be with you, it's from a pure-hearted place. It's not from a place of selfishness. It's not from a place of ambition. It's from a very pure and unadulterated place. So what these cards are telling me is that things have been slow between you, and you already know this because you understand a bit about the cards, but with the pentacles. But things are heating up because you've got the wands in your spread. So that shows the energy that is pushing this situation forward. And I think that you will be very happy in the near future on whatever plane you're associated with this man. Okay, so that was deck 1, card 1, number 1. If this reading resonated, of course, please like, share, subscribe and comment. If you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website and to my Fiverr account. My website is a PayPal service, so clients are sending me through the funds and a message with their email address, and then I get back to them by email. The other method is on my Fiverr account, and my Fiverr account has a few more options for tarot readings, and it also has a few more options for payment, which people appreciate if they don't have a PayPal account. So you can choose either one. The Fiverr account, you need to log in using a Google account, but people haven't had much drama with that either, even though that's not my most popular service yet. People still prefer to use the PayPal, but just choose whichever service is convenient for you if you want a reading. If you would like to donate to this channel, my details, my PayPal details are on my website. Of course, that isn't obligatory, but if that's what you would like to do, that's where you will find my details. This is deck 2, card 2, number 2, whatever your preference may be. So I'll ask, what is the truth of his feelings towards my channel viewer? That is the question that we're asking tonight. Again, this is the truth about his feelings. Pick a card in case you're just choosing this number from the timestamps. I'm doing a critical analysis tonight, so it's just me picking 3 cards and then running off my intuitive feeling on those cards. I usually get some like another perspective or some in-depth information for my channel viewers using this method, and that's why a lot of viewers like this reading. So I'll continue on now. I'll just have a look here at the cards. I have the 6 of Wands upright, the 6 of Swords upright, and Strength. So what this tells me is that your person just wants to take you away with him, basically. That's what it says very clearly. I feel he has some impression you've got a child, but that could be, it shows with the swords in this reading that it's just a thought of his. So whether or not that's reality or not, of course it's dependent on your individual circumstances, but I get kind of the impression he got some kind of impression that you had a kid, because he wants to take you away with him. And this is the fella that's a traveller. Now, we've seen this guy many times, so it's like an interconnectedness thing where you all have the same type of men. They're all travelling. He had a situation which was quite contentious in his life. I think there must have been some fiery arguments, because I have the 6 of Wands here. So he's moved through the argument stage or the fighting stage. He's moved through the battle and he's won the battle. So he's feeling very victorious, and this has happened in the past. I feel like it was very important to him to sort out his problems first. He's a very talkative man. He feels like he's talked too much to you in the past. He feels like he said too much. Like he wishes he'd just kept his trap shut. He's just, but you didn't mind. I can see that you're facing those swords. So you're open to listening to what he has to say. You're happy for him to be a talker. You're happy for him to be a chatty little man, or chatty big man, whatever he may be. So he's really just looking at those swords with this pole in his hand, about to, knock one down if he has the tendency to talk. I feel he just wants to stop talking and he wants to start listening to what you have to say. He wants to start caring for you. That's what these cards show. He feels that you are a person that can control him. He feels like you are a strong person. You are a pure person. You are a person that he could live with and be with forever. You are a person to him that he could just wander the earth with forever. And he just admires you so much. I feel like you touched him somewhere. Now that doesn't have to be rude, but you touched him. And when you touched him, he knew that he was in love with you. He knew that he wanted to be with you. And he knew that you were the only person that was worthy of being a companion to him for the rest of his life. So those are pretty powerful cards, and that's a pretty powerful scenario. So he's in a little bit of a thinking modus. He's thinking about taking you with him. So you must know something about his habit to get around, because he really likes to travel, or he moves around quite a bit. I feel like he moves around on land, he moves over water, so I feel like that gives me the impression that he's not only a domestic traveller, but he's an international traveller. That's the impression I get from this card. He has some place in mind that he wants to go, and I think you're well aware of where he wants to go, actually. I don't think it's a secret from you. And I think that if he proposed to you or made a proposal to you, you'd consider it carefully. You really would. You'd give it a lot of thought, quite a lot of thought, because you also want to be with him. There's something about this relationship which is unique. I mean, you've got a major arcana here, which is strength into the future. So it means to me that your relationship can only get stronger. There's a mutual happiness between you as well. Especially on his side, you make him really happy, and he makes you feel like very protective. You feel like, in some respect, you're his angel on earth. That's what it shows. But you're not an angel with wings. So it's not as if you feel like you have some kind of godlike complex, because you don't. It's just that you feel very protective towards him, and I feel like you could also be with him forever, and you both had that impression of one another. I feel like he can be very ferocious, extremely ferocious. He's a person that wants to be looked after by a woman, very much so. He's a person that is doted on. I feel maybe he was doted on by his mum, because it shows here that when you touched his hand or did whatever you did, he's felt the comfort, felt the real comfort in you, and he felt like he could just snuggle up to you. That's the impression I get. But it's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's something that he keeps with him all the time. I feel like he just needs to collect you at this stage. He wants to collect you. He wants to take you with him. There could have been some situation in his past where he had a partner and he had a child. That's a possibility. And they travelled away together. But there was something that stopped their progression as a couple. So I don't think that's a current or future possibility. It shows that he had good intentions for whoever it was he's left behind, but it was inevitable that she turned away from him. I don't think he's turned away from her at any stage, but she definitely has turned away from him. He's very loyal. He's feeling very loyal and very steadfast towards you. Every time he looks upon you as the person he has a very new relationship with, or who he is growing a new relationship with. Somebody who works, somebody who is very pure-hearted, and somebody who makes him happy. And I think the biggest overlying factor in this relationship is that you make him supremely happy. And it's something that he thinks about all of the time. In the past, he was quite a successful man. I feel like he could have been a leader in some respect in the past. But he's now a much more simpler person. You know, it feels to me like he moved into a simpler type of existence. And he's a very emotional person, deeply sensitive. He's had to build something to separate his emotions from his physical being, because he's had to protect himself in some way, it says, because there was the situation where if those emotions enveloped him, that he wouldn't be able to get by. He wouldn't be able to see the light of day. That's what it's saying to me. So he's really put up his defenses in some respect. If you felt he was protecting his emotions with his intellect, he was. That's what it shows very clearly, but it's also showing that he doesn't want to do that anymore. He wants to open up to you. He wants this to be a progressive relationship. He wants for you to understand how much you mean to him, how much he cares about you. That's what it shows very strongly. Because I feel that you are devoted to him, wholly and solely in being, very devoted. I feel like just recently you've left behind a career or a job and you're just focused on yourself. It could be that you are on holidays or you met this man on holidays, but I feel that's your situation in the present. So you've just recently left a job or left some type of endeavour behind. You're very passionate about one another. He's always got money on his mind, like any bloke. But he's extremely loyal to you. And I feel like he's very protective of you as well. And you've built something very solid together. Very solid. You know, I can see your hands or your arms intertwined again. I feel like it shows me in two of these pictures that you are holding hands. So that's what he thinks about. Now, if this wasn't a physical relationship, then you do hold hands in your respective minds or on a soul plane, either in your dreams, in your minds. You're doing the same thing. You're in different parts of the world or at different points on the earth, but you're still thinking about holding one another's hands. So that indicates to me that this is a very strong and passionate soul connection. It also shows to me that there's a mutual feeling between you both. So you love one another. You do love one another deeply, and you feel very protective towards one another. I feel though in the present you're both independent. You're both independent people. I feel like this is a person, you are a person he was looking for in his past. And he couldn't find her, or he had a partner in his past. But he's since left that situation. He's no longer with that partner. It's like he imagines a life he had before, but he imagines it with you in it. So there must be some regret there about the person he was with before. That's the impression I get. So you're moving into a very devotional space for one another, a very loyal space. You know, again, I see this loyalty and this devotion between you, and the strength between you, the strength of character, the strength of will, the meditation, the inner knowing, the calm, the deep-seated calm and inner knowing that you understand that you were both meant for one another. That's what it shows me very clearly. The challenge is going to be that you are both strong individuals, and it kind of indicates to me that you can be a little bit stubborn, and you're also not opening up to one another. With the Six of Swords here, it shows me that you're not in discussions, you're not opening up to one another, you're being stubborn towards one another, but you're still very passionate towards one another. So it just tells me that you will have to evolve out of that situation, become more compromising towards one another. That's what it shows very clearly. Become more grounded and less independent and more trusting of one another. Because it really shows me that this relationship can be very strong between you, but you both have to compromise on a soul plane and on a physical plane. Okay, so that was deck 2, card 2, number 2. If this reading resonated, of course, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. If you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website and to my Fiverr account. The website has a PayPal option, so it's like very standard on YouTube where you send the funds, you send me a message with your email address, I get back to you. With the Fiverr account, it just has some more options for payment and some more tarot readings to choose from. So it's up to you which one you choose if you would like a personal reading. If you would like to donate to my channel, my PayPal details are also on my website. I'll see you again next time.